YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back, and today we're going through every single NFL team, and I'm giving you their top secret player for this year, a player that will maybe surprise teams when the way they use them on the field. Some of them rookies, some of them second-year guys ready to break out. Some of them might be well-known names, vets that may be used in different ways or may step up their game at a random point in their career. So really excited to break this down for every single team here. 60K, that's our subscriber goal by early in the NFL season. We'll have full coverage. Cannot wait for all that content. Cannot wait for the NFL season just around the corner here. So please subscribe. Follow that Twitter. It's a must follow. If you don't have a Twitter, I recommend making one. Updating you on the channel, but on the NFL as well with breaking news. And I live tweet during pretty much every game during the year. Cannot wait. Instagram, going to be more active on that during the season. We have a podcast as well, and we have our Patreon bonus content for in-season and for joining our fantasy league. Link in the description in the comments for any of those things that you see on the screen there. Let's go on. Let's start with the Cardinals. The Cardinals don't really have an obvious one. DEVON, KENNARD, kind of a well-known guy here, but somewhat of a known guy here. But why he's kind of a secret is because, or that secret, that weapon they're going to use out there, and it might be better than expected, is because he was, originally an off-the-ball linebacker, and then the Lions switched him to more of an edge rusher. They see that he has potential there, and I thought he's been pretty good for his kind of short amount of time there. Pretty good at being productive, getting after the quarterback. Now he's going to play opposite of the Chandler Jones, another year learning the position, learning with Chandler Jones. So I think he can be better than expected. They didn't really have a top secret guy, so I went with DEVON KENNARD here, who they picked up from the Lions this offseason. For the Falcons, went with a rookie, went with MARLON DAVIDSON. The Falcons are a team that don't really have one that really stands out. Laquan Treadwell, maybe I was thinking on the offense, but MARLON DAVIDSON is a defensive lineman that could play the edge position or can slide in and play inside, 3 techniques. So that's why he'll kind of be used like a secret weapon type player, and can be pretty productive in either of those spots that really Atlanta Falcons could use some help at. So I'd look out for the rookie to make an impact early on. For the Ravens, another rookie went with DUVERNAY, the Texas rookie receiver. I've talked about it's a pretty, ready plug-and-play, pro-ready, prospect. It's just he plays in the slot, and he plays very well there. It's a guy that you can just, it's pretty easy for him to get open from the slot, pretty easy for a lot of these talented receivers to get open from the slot, and it's just a guy you get the ball to because he's very good after the catch. He's like a running back after the catch with the receiver's speed. So I think it's going to be really easy for this guy to get on the field and really easy to get his hands on the ball. So that'll kind of be the secret guy for them out there this year. Moving on to the Bills. You already know, if you follow us for a while, you already know who I was going to pick. I'm a big QUINTON Jefferson guy. There's a big pickup. He may not start for the Bills. That kind of makes him a little more of a secret. Last year was really only his known year where he was solid. But he's probably not going to start. Probably going to be more Ed Oliver and Vernon Butler. But QUINTON Jefferson can play any position on the defensive line. He can play nose, D tackle, 3 technique, 5 technique. He can play all over the defensive line and very productive in those spots. So, and that's exactly what the Bills could use. He'll get pressure. He'll stop the run. That's kind of their secret guy that could be one of the best players on that entire defensive line. So look out for QUINTON Jefferson. I think it was a big-time signing. I thought he was key for the Seahawks last year. The Panthers went with a rookie, CHINN, who I think is going to start at strong safety, but we can catch him playing in the box almost like a linebacker at times, and he'll have to step up big time there for that Panthers defense. So really no obvious one there. Went with CHINN because he's going to be used in multiple ways and may have to be an impact early on in his career here. Next, the Bears. I love this pick here. Running back, PATTERSON, running back. He's been practicing with the running backs. I like this throughout his career. He's gotten the ball out of the backfield, whether it was with the Vikings, whether it was the Patriots or the Bears, and he's been pretty productive. Hard guy to tackle, really good vision, very elusive. It's why he's really one of the best kick returners in NFL history. It's unfortunate they changed that rule because he could have broken some records, but just such good vision and elusiveness. It was just a guy that, he couldn't really figure it out receiver-wise, mainly because he wasn't the greatest route runner. But whenever he got the ball in his hands, he's electrifying. And David Montgomery's hurt right now. That's unfortunate, but we might see a bit of Patterson, which I'm a little excited for, at the actual running back position because I think he can play it. He's a little maybe lanky for a running back, but that's okay. I think he's just it's one of those guys. Is when the ball's in his hands, he's just electrifying player. So that's their secret guy. You could have put a guy like Eddie Jackson here because for offensive purposes, because you hear Nagy talking about they're going to use Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson's another guy like that. He was a phenomenal punt returner when he was at Alabama. Incredible vision, hard to bring down, and we see him get that interception. He takes it back for 6 because of that. So that could be another one here for the Bears. Bears are full of those guys. The Bengals went with Germaine Pratt. Pretty much a mystery who's really going to be the starters full term there for the Bengals linebacker unit. I went with Germaine Pratt. This is a freaky linebacker, safety turned linebacker at NC State. And immediately caught on. You know he has the coverage ability because he played safety, and then you see the run-stopping ability, can fly around the field, pretty rangy, but actually pretty good at getting after the quarterback, getting pressure at the quarterback. I think he's kind of today's type of linebacker. I hope they give him more of a shot, and he could be freaky. Could be a breakout guy. Could be a kind of a secret guy that can do multiple things for the Bengals there. The Browns went with Sion Taki, who they drafted last year out of BYU. I had a poor man's Anthony Barr comparison on him because he's kind of an off-the-ball linebacker that actually can rush the edge as well. And similarities in the way they cover, the way they Barr moves. So I saw a little bit of similarities there, just reminding me of him. Obviously, you can't expect him to be as good as Anthony Barr, but I think they need to use him. They need to use Taki a lot. They need to use him in different ways, in blitz packages. You can rush him off the edge. You know, he has the talent to really be the second best, you know, in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback on their team after Myles Garrett, which is quite the statement, but he has the potential, not saying he will, but he has the potential to do that. You know, an all-around talent there, has some upside, and I would like for them to use him quite a bit more, and it could be that secret guy on their defense. Moving on to the Cowboys, we went with Trysten Hill, young guy that's been a little underwhelming so far, but just a short, sample size. Has some upside, but had a very good, productive career at Central Florida. And Gerald McCoy, obviously, no longer with the Cowboys because of the injury, and they cut him. So guys like Trysten Hill will get more action, and it could be his time to step up and could be an impact there in the middle. Really no obvious one with the Cowboys. Most of their weapons are pretty, even a rookie, almost feels like CeeDee Lamb, a guy like that. It's like it's not really secret or anything. So, one with Trysten Hill for the Cowboys. The Broncos, one with DRE'MONT Jones a couple years ago out of Ohio State, was a big-time player at Ohio State, a defensive lineman that can also bring that bonus pressure, quarterback pressure to his game. Maybe we haven't seen I don't think we've seen the full DRE'MONT Jones yet. Maybe a little underwhelming, but that's because how many good guys they have on the D-line. But now's the year I think he steps up. I think he creates some more pressure this year. But they got a long list of good rotation players there on the D-line, so we'll see how much action he gets there. Moving on to the Lions, Jailani Taive. They drafted last year out of Hawaii, the linebacker there, and maybe a little higher than expected where he went. But Matt Patricia's very high on him. They're very excited about him. They got a long list of off-the-ball linebackers, but I think they use Taive a little more. He's one of the high-motor, machine guys. Gets in the backfield, sniffs out the runs, makes the play for tackle for loss. So, and pretty underrated in coverage. So I think he gets more action, and it's a guy they actually probably view as their linebacker of the future. Obviously, they're going to use multiple, but their guy there in the middle. So excited to see him in his second year. They got high hopes for him. The Packers went with JACE STERNBERGER, the tight end from Texas A&M. Very athletic, more of a receiving tight end they drafted last year. We didn't really get to see any of him, surprisingly, last year. A little underwhelming. But now in his second year, you start to think, maybe why did the Packers kind of pass on those receiving options, the tight end options? It's maybe because they view Sternberger as more of a receiver. He's a tight end, but maybe more as a receiver, a guy they can put in a slot and put outside. So I think he'll be more of a weapon than people expect. But maybe even a rookie tight end like Josiah DeGuara could be that guy as well. So, which I did like that pick. So we'll see. But Sternberger more of that receiver option that could be sneaky for them. Next, we got the Texans. Went with Charles OMENIHU, who I thought was a steal last year. And we saw some glimpses last year as well. But I think he really becomes that takes that next step this year, and he's going to be able to move around. When I think secret, weapons along the D line, I think guys that can move to different spots and get pressure from different spots, and I think he'll do that. I think he can kind of play an end spot right in front of, little inside of a guy like Whitney Merciless, who's more an edge rusher from off the line of scrimmage. So that kind of makes him unique. I think he'll get some good pressure from different spots. Moving on. Colts went Paris Campbell. Been talking about Paris Campbell a lot lately, I feel like. Been hearing really good things from camp. A little underwhelming last year. I think a little bit of a breakout year, but he's definitely falls under the category as kind of a secret weapon there. because it's the guy that you can get a screen pass to, you get him downfield. He's going to be tremendous after the catch. And I think that's that type of guy that they need in that Colts receiver group. You got T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman. Now you need a guy like this. So I think he'll step up this year, and maybe people are not expecting a whole bunch because a little bit of an underwhelming rookie year. But he'll get going here. Could be a secret. The Jags went a little bold here. Went Colin Johnson. Seen some good things from training camp so far. Tremendous catch radius, contested catch ability. Yeah, looking really good in camp. So I think that's kind of that guy. They have good receivers, but when they need that goal line, that red zone receiver, that third down and long situation, it's fourth down. So I think they'll use him quite a bit. Could be better than expecting. I think he dropped because his speed. He's lacking the speed a little bit, but usually those speed guys, what's the number one thing that's going to make or break a receiver in football? People think speed. Speed's pretty important, but to me, it's kind of goes into route running, a little bit mixture of route running, footwork, and separation, which really all comes together. And I think he can do that. Just because he has a speed doesn't mean he can't do those things. I think he can do those things, and he has a crazy catch radius, like I said. So, and I like what I see from camp so far. But they have a list of pretty solid receivers there. The Chiefs rookie went a little bold here. LJARIUS SNEED, the safety the corner turned safety turned corner now from LA Tech there, Louisiana Tech. And I actually don't be surprised if Sneed starts week 1. I think switching back to corner is the right move. I think he has the length and the athleticism, freaky athlete, and freaky length and ball skills to play that corner position pretty well there. So that's a guy to look out for here to make an impact early on, surprisingly there. So, and I think he could struggle if he plays a lot at first, but I think he has a lot of upside there. Moving on to the Chargers here, the LA Chargers, Kenneth Murray. So we went rookie here, and if you remember the draft process, I kind of hyped Murray up as an edge rusher, even though he's not an edge rusher, and I still listed him where he is, an off-the-ball linebacker, because that's where he played at Oklahoma, but at times he got reps as more of a 3-4 pass rusher, an edge rusher, and he was pretty darn impressive, I have to say. So, and I mentioned at one point in the process that if he decided he's an edge rusher, like that's what he is, I'd still take him in the first round because I see that much upside there. He's a freaky high motor dude, and Gus Bradley gets a little unique sometimes. Move some guys around a little bit, give different looks. That's what makes Murray that special guy there on that defense. So look out for him to make a crazy impact right away. The Rams, Micah Kiser, the concern about inside linebacker in general, but the concern about losing Corey Littleton. But Kaiser's a pretty solid, standout guy from Virginia. Pretty solid linebacker, which they missed last year due to injuries. So him back, I think, being kind of their standout inside linebacker and looking good in training camp, looking healthy. All the signs point towards him being more of an impact than people realize. Kind of an under radar guy here. Moving on to one of my favorite ones, maybe my favorite one here. To the Raiders, Lynn Bowden Jr., the rookie from Kentucky, and I put athlete for position because he was listed as receiver. Kentucky ended up putting him at quarterback and pretty much just running him a ton because that was their best chance to win, which I agree with that because he's just that good of a football player. And you see the thing, I talked about this before in the pre-draft process, before there was any talk about him moving to running back. I mentioned that I would like him at running back just because when you watch him run as a quarterback, it was pure vision. He knew exactly where to go before he actually had to do it. And vision is the number one trait for a running back, for them to be a make or break guy. And I saw that with Lynn Bowden. He goes into the Raiders. They want to they put a little strength on him, transition him to running back, but that's not it. They're going to use him at receiver. There's actually been some talk about him playing a little quarterback. There's some design plays. They're going to get unique. They do have Mariota for that if they want as well. But this guy's an athlete, tremendous vision, and he was by far the best player in Kentucky offensively, so that is why they put pretty much the ball in his hands. They wanted him in control. So this is pretty much the definition of that special, that secret weapon there. So I'm excited. Maybe not too much early on, but I'm excited about a player like this. Phenomenal athlete for the Raiders there. The Dolphins went with Preston Williams. I think it's kind of an under radar guy. Yeah, secret weapons. I'm looking at guys that are gonna kind of make more of a name for themselves and be more impactful than people think, or under radar guys. I think Preston Williams fits all that. This was an undrafted guy that got hurt last year, so most people in the world, maybe your average football fans, really don't know much of Preston Williams and don't expect too much. But if you look back, this guy was an undrafted guy, not because of his talent, because of off-the-field issues. It's a second-round talent, and he was looking pretty good before he got hurt, too. So I think he'll be a receiver 2 on the Dolphins, and I think he can make a heck of an impact no matter who's at quarterback there. So that's definitely a guy to look out for sure. The Vikings went with Irv Smith Jr. here. Remember, even out of the last couple years in terms of the draft, this was a pretty top-tier receiving tight end option that also has that build to him as well. You've seen him downfield, the downfield threat he was at Alabama. And the Vikings were a little shy to use him early on last year. They started getting going a little bit, and now Kyle Rudolph, still pretty solid for them, but aging, I think they go steadily towards more and more Irv Smith. So that's kind of their secret guy. Can line him up in the slot and outside, even in line. So that's kind of their secret guy there for the Vikings offense. The Patriots going with Damien Harris. They got a collection of good running backs, but Damien Harris, mainly because of injuries in training camp, has been taking over the show, and he's been putting on a show. And we know he's a good running back, hard-running running back out of Alabama, another Alabama guy here. So we know he's talented. It's just a matter of getting his chance, and I think he'll get, what he's shown in training camp. I think he'll get some opportunities. May not start, maybe at all, maybe right away, but very talented guy that could kind of be their secret guy there. The Saints went with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who I think kind of take over, a role, mainly slot corner, but he also can play a strong safety position as well. He can move around a bit, but I think he'll play in the nickel packages quite a bit there, and he's pretty darn good at Florida. If you remember his tape, if you remember watching him in the SEC, can come up and stop the run, but mainly I think he can be a playmaker back there in kind of the short passing game mainly. So this guy could actually, if he steps up, and kind of breaks out a little bit, I think that whole secondary kind of really comes together then. So definitely a guy to look out for the Saints. The Giants went with Lorenzo Carter. No obvious one for the Giants. Went with Lorenzo Carter. This guy, the questions that coming out of Georgia, is he an off-the-ball linebacker? Is he an edge rusher? I think I was pretty sure he was either going to be a 3-4 edge rusher, or if he went to a 4-3 team, an off-the-ball linebacker. He lands on a 3-4 defense in the Giants, so that means he's an edge rusher. He's still kind of developing with that spot. It's a guy that, I definitely liked Lorenzo Carter, but if you remember me saying, he's not going to do much early on. It's going to take some time. So this could be the time, and he could secretly be, a pretty productive edge rusher there for the Giants. So definitely another guy to look out for. The Jets really don't have one. Chris Herndon is a known guy, but I think people are starting to forget about him. There was some expectations early, a couple years ago. Didn't get to see much of him recently. But hearing he's tearing it up in practice, hearing he's their second best target after Jameson Crowder, so their best tight end, obviously. And he's a factor. He's a weapon. So I think people kind of starting to forget. Most people starting to forget. So that's kind of what made me put him on the list here. I think he makes a pretty good impact. The Eagles went with a known guy, too, a veteran that, he's pretty well known, Jalen Mills. But switching back to safety turned corner, now turned back to safety. And that's where I think he belongs. That's definitely where I think he belongs. Playing a little more strong safety role with Malcolm Jenkins out of there and, looking pretty good in training camp. And I think he's going to be better at this spot. We've seen glimpses at corner, but then the bad moments as well. I think strong safety is where he belongs. So people think Jalen Mills, he's an okay corner. Well, now it's kind of a secret to a lot of people out there, maybe, that this guy could be a pretty impactful safety here for the Eagles. Next, we got the Steelers, another rookie here. I want Chase Claypool because pretty impressive in camp already. He was one of my guys of the draft, so I think he'll make an impact. But it's a guy you can move around. He can play in the slot, almost like a tight end slot guy, even though he's a receiver, and then you can play him outside. You can get him. He's an excellent jump ball, contested catch guy, but he's also a guy that you can give quick things to, and he's very good after the catch. So he's a do-it-all guy, and they're going to use him like a do-it-all guy there. You see Joe Hayden, give him props already, give him some recognition there on Twitter early on this training camp process. So it's definitely a guy that I'm excited to watch here. Seahawks went with Philip Dorsett, who I like a lot for them. Kind of a sneaky good signing for them in the offseason as their receiver number 3. I think it's perfect. Philip Dorsett's kind of the guy that gets open if the play is kind of extended or, if the route, it's after the route, post-route. Guy that kind of gets open when the quarterback's in stride. So I think that's perfect for Russell Wilson, especially I think a pretty good receiver 3 for them after their 2 top guys there. So Yeah, I just really like the fit. I think he's going to make an impact there and could be, could be a little better than people expect. Next, we got the 49ers, another rookie here, Brandon Ayuk, who, remember, was a first-round talent. That's the reason he went in the first round. They liked him a lot, too. I'm pretty confident they had him higher on their board than some of those more well-known receivers that were taken. Not all of them, but some of those well-known guys that were taken up top. Because remember, they passed on them early. They wanted Brandon Ayuk, and they found the sweet spot to get him. Deebo Samuel hurt, but it sounds like he's ahead of schedule. But Brandon Ayuk is more of a, he's really good outside, down the sideline, really lengthy, catch the ball in stride, but he's really good underneath, too. You give him a slant, he can take a distance screen pass. He's more of a do-it-all receiver and has that more of an outside receiver role to him that really, maybe Deebo Samuel, I think he has. Deebo Samuel is very, very talented, but Ayuk might have more of that. So Ayuk, and I'm going to say Deebo Samuel's their best receiver, but Ayuk can be. It wouldn't surprise me if he was actually their best wide receiver at the end of this season. So more of a weapon, more of an impact than I think people think there. So we'll see the rookie, see if he can make that much of an impact. Tampa Bay went with Scotty Miller here. Hearing only good things out of camp. Sounds like he's locked up receiver 3. Brady keeps raving about him, likes him a lot. So Brady just making these guys... getting these guys' talent out of them, because talent's inside of them, so you love to see that as well. And I definitely think he'll be an easy target for them, for Brady, and I think he'll make an impact. So I think it was a clear choice there for their secret weapon there. The Titans went with Derek Roberson there. This was thinking about a couple different edge rushers. Really, Vic Beasley can be, even though he's a well-known guy. People are starting to call him down on him, and I think he could be good with the Titans, but there's some concerns. Is he in shape? Is he ready to go? Thought about Cleve Raymond, the receiver, as well, who was kind of surprising last year and could continue to get better. But I went Roberson, and I also thought about DeAndre Walker, too, a guy they drafted out of Georgia last year that was hurt all year. But Roberson was a talented dude, only didn't get drafted because off-the-field issues. Remember, he went from Texas, then over to Sam Houston State. So he's at Texas for a reason at one point. And I thought when he got his chance last year, he's pretty solid. And he's been running with the one so far in training camp. So that could be their guy to make more of an impact than people think. A lot of people probably don't know, even some of those other guys I named too. So those guys might actually make more of an impact than you think. And then Washington, easy choice here. One of my guys of the draft, Antonio Gibson, who played a lot of receiver, but also played some running back for Memphis. I liked him at running back, and it sounds like Washington does as well. Early training camp, they were using him a little more receiver, kind of give him end arounds. But lately, especially with the big scrimmages they've been doing, they've been putting him at running back, and he's been running with the ones, kind of splitting with Adrian Peterson and looking very, very good. He kind of fits the offense, a guy that you can throw the ball to out of the backfield. This guy's a weapon. This guy's a talented dude, a lot of upside. It might be their most complete running back right off the bat. That's crazy to think about, but he might be. So that's definitely one of my favorite ones in this list, and it's even a rookie. It's tough going with the rookies sometimes, but yeah, he's one of those guys where almost feels like he's the definition of a secret weapon this year. So really excited to watch a lot of these guys here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please smash that like button if you did. You can let me know if you think I missed out on a guy. And I'm sure everyone else has different opinions. There's a lot of different options we can go with. So let me know in the comments. Please subscribe. Full NFL content on the way during the season. Cannot wait. Turn notifications on so you don't miss a thing. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.